if I already purchased my property, right, and I already settled the property, can I still go get title insurance put on my property?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
city records is what we rely on when we do our search. If for some reason there is a violation on a property that the city records don't reflect, that's not going to reflect on your title report. My very first job at a title company, I had no idea what a title company was.
Right.
It just goes to the fact that we just don't know. It's not something that's talked about.
Right. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Listen, this is Philly Permit Expediters, aka the Permit Plug podcast, Behind the Permits, and I have my next guest, which is none other than Keesha White, quick abstract company, title company. You guys listen. You already know I don't bring you no junk. I'm telling you right now, this is the real on the real. I have brought this company in front of you guys right now because I am super excited. Actually, I'm proud to be able to have a minority female-owned company, title company specifically at that is not just good at what she does, but she has a team that is just amazing at what they do as well in order and then building a brand and that kind of thing. So I'm really super excited. Keesha, I've known Keesha for years. I'm so excited you took that time out because I know you got a crazy schedule too. You had to run out and then run back and what have you. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Could you actually tell I guess the audience exactly who you are, what you do here at Quick Abstract?
So again, my name is Keesha White. I'm the CEO and founder of Quick Abstract. We are a Black-owned and operated title company here in Philadelphia. And our main job as a title company is to just make sure that our investors, first-time home buyers, that their title is protected. In the sense of we run a background search on a title. We make sure that there aren't any liens or any judgments against the title. And essentially that what you, spent your hard-earned money on it is protected. Because there's always a lot of title issues, and it's important to have a title company, an experienced title company, that will do their due diligence to make sure that you're actually getting clear title. Been in the title business since 2008. Went on my own in 2008. Been in the title business in 2001. Opened up in 2008 as a title search company. And in 2015, we added the title insurance piece to it. And since then, we have just been growing. Our business grows continually every year.
Oh, wow.
And
that's amazing.
It's due in part to, of course, the team that we formed. I have 15 employees at this time.
Oh,
Well, and not to call them employees, they're team members.
Yeah, team members.
Because we're a team, and it's important to me to hire young Black professionals that are interested in the title business because we need to make sure that this legacy can continue.
Exactly. It's important too. You can't almost do anything without title insurance.
You can't. And a lot of people, we run into a lot of situations where people purchase without the insurance and they end up having issues later. So it's very important. And a lot of our people don't know that you need to get it.
That's true. As is as is.
Right. So we like to stress the importance. We like to educate people. It's not just about closing your deal, but we want to make sure that you actually understand what it means to get the title insurance.
Right. When it comes to the title insurance, I tell people all the time, in fact, let me ask you this question so I won't be saying the wrong information. If I already purchased my property, right, and I already settled the property, can I still go get title insurance put on my property?
Absolutely. So if title insurance wasn't purchased, you can come to us. What we do is we run a thorough search on a property to make sure that the title is marketable and that we can offer the insurance. If we run the title search and we find out that we can, then of course, we'll gladly offer insurance because we're in the insurance business.
Right.
But it just has to make sense. The title has to be clear and we have to make sure that there aren't any risk involved.
Right.
That essentially you have a clear title.
Right. So that's what I was wondering. I'm like, I think, is there a way to get, so that's just to say a lot of people you got a lot of people that do wholesale deals, right? And a lot of people that buy properties as is. After you make that deal and you have the I didn't get it, that oops moment, you can still get title insurance. And when it comes to a lot of these municipality liens, like to building departments and L&I and that type thing, they don't always show up on title. That is actually not something that's necessarily covered under title. There are some issues that you have to actually take into the city municipality themselves to help clear that off. Yeah. But from my experience with dealing with L&I and municipal liens is sometimes what happens is, depending on the title company, they will allow you to still close the deal, but they will hold escrow.
Absolutely.
Okay, because they are insuring it, but they will hold escrow until you clear out your municipality liens with the city or the municipality. And then once they are cleared out, then they'll either use that money to pay for those fines, or they will go ahead and release the money back to you once you have shown proof that you was able to do that. So that right there, I do know as well. As a title company, I feel like they put so much pressure on title companies to be this end all be all to protect me from everything. And that's not true, because it covers the property, but it doesn't, and it covers the property and certain liens against it, but it has nothing to do necessarily with the municipal liens. And it's like, I feel like they always try to make you guys, outside of like your water bill and gas bill type situation, but like when it comes to, and outside of the taxes, of course, like normal things that would run with the property, but when it comes to violations, that is completely separate of title, and title is not responsible they're responsible in terms of being able to protect themselves from holding the escrow, but they're not responsible for paying that off, because that doesn't run, am I right, with the property in that way?
I'll say this, the title company and our title search is only as good as the city records, right?
Okay.
So the city records is what we rely on when we do our search. If for some reason there is a violation on a property that the city records don't reflect, that's not going to reflect on your title report. So we're only as good as what the city gives us, and there are times when the city may have a violation out there that's not necessarily listed on public record,
right?
And yes, then we have an issue. So we're only as good as what we're searching and what the city provides us, because everything is filed in the city.
Right. That's what I kind of figured.
Municipal liens, L&I liens, for the most part, they do show up. But like you said, there's some violations. Like if you get a use and occupancy cert or resale cert.
A UNO, city cert.
There are times when violations will show up on that, but the title has no liens against it. So then, we have an issue. And like you said, we have to hold that escrow until those violations are clear, because no, it's not a title issue, but it still affects the property owner once they purchase it.
Right. Right. It's a crazy thing. I think people really, what you guys educating me, it just makes so much sense, because too many people are assuming that you cover so much without paying attention. To me, it's no different than if you was to, it's almost similar to a home warranty in a sense. We get a home warranty, or even when you buy an insurance policy for your car, you think it covers everything, but it doesn't. It's based on, well, with them, you have to pick these certain things. And with title, I feel like, you need title insurance. Why would you ever go anywhere without getting title insurance on the property,
to us, right? Because we're in the business.
Right.
But to someone who's not in the business, who doesn't know, they just think, oh, I'm buying a property, and then they don't realize, hey, I do need this insurance.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we stress the importance at Quick Abstract and just honing in on the importance of having it, because a lot of us don't know. My very first job at a title company, I had no idea what a title company was.
Right.
It just goes to the fact that we just don't know. It's not something that's talked about.
Right.
Hey, I want to be a title agent or on a title company. That's just not something we discuss.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this business, because I want to bring awareness to it. And say, hey, if you're buying a property, don't just take a deed down to City Hall. Make sure you come to a title company to make sure that, in fact, that deed or the person selling it to you is who they say they are.
Right.
Because numerous times we have people come in, hey, I purchased a property 2-3 years ago, no title insurance, and then we realize things weren't done correctly. And now you as the owner are left holding the bag, and then we have to kind of fix what has already been done.
Right, which essentially is costing them more money.
Yep. Yes, essentially. And you don't have a clear title.
No, you don't.
You may own a property, but you don't have a clear title, so you can't sell it.
You can't do anything. So with that being said, in terms of your own projects, so this is behind a permit. So have you had any experiences with your own? Do you currently have properties you own?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. I am an investor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't invest full time, but
Right.
obviously, we talk about generational wealth, so
Right.
that's a part of it. So I do have properties that I own, 5 rental properties that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you go through the usual challenges with rehabbing,
Right.
pulling permits. And yes, we have experienced issues.
Like stop work
Stop
orders
work
or
orders,
yeah.
contractor issues mainly.
Okay.
Finding a good contractor is hard in this business.
It is.
Someone that's licensed, someone that's not going to rip you off, take your
Mm-hmm.
money. I've had contractor charge me up,
Mm-hmm.
disappear, left holding a
Yeah.
bag. I've had a contractor that said they were a contractor, they don't have a license. And
Yeah.
then when L&I comes out, hey, you don't have a license, you didn't pull the correct permits, and then it
Mm-hmm.
shuts the job down.
Yeah.
One of my rental properties, we started rehab during COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
it actually sat for almost 2 years because the contractor we had did not have a license.
Yeah.
So everything stopped. And he did things to the house that he should not have done. So
Mm-hmm.
the back patio, which we wanted, but of
Mm-hmm.
course, you have to have a permit for that.
Yeah, they gotta have a
And
permit
because he
for
didn't
that.
have a permit, they made us knock it down. So now you
Wow.
have to hire another contractor that comes behind the first. Nobody likes to come
You
behind
can,
somebody else,
yeah,
right?
nobody else like to come out, nobody else's
And when
work.
they do, it costs more.
Yeah,
You put
yeah,
out more money. So you end up spending double the money just because you dealt with someone that wasn't integral and
yeah.
honest about their license. It was like, oh,
That's
I'm working
crazy.
off another friend's license. And
Yeah,
that
they
friend's
do
not
that.
answering the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, you didn't say all this when you took my deposit.
Right.
But, it's a learning experience, something that you
Now, did
learn
you
to go through.
finance it or did you use like your own money when you did the
So in
deal?
that instance, we were using our own money,
Okay.
because you make
That was actually a good thing though in that instance because you could
I
have
wasn't
lost
getting
even
mortgaged.
more.
Yeah, you're right.
If you had did like a OPM, you could have really lost more money because that interest rate would have still kept coming in. Then you had to pay the extra inflation on the end, so it would have been
Yep.
because there's a lot of that going on right now. It's a
Yep.
whole lot of that going on right now.
And then I
So
hired another contractor who was licensed,
yeah,
and now I'm finding out as a tenant is in there's a lot of things he didn't do. So it's
wow.
extremely.
You know what I think? You know what I think sometimes. Number one, how to vet the proper contractor is not necessarily because the contractor has the license, but it depends on what you need the contractor to do. So I'm a firm believer in you only hire for what that trade is. So if I'm dealing with if I need electrical, I'm gonna just deal with the electrician. I'm not gonna hire the contractor to hire his electrician, his plumber, his
I do
HVAC.
everything.
I do everything. Exactly. What do you specialize in,
Yeah,
sir?
I do it all.
I do it all. So I will hire each individual trade, and I would never let the contractor hire the trade
Mm-hmm.
because I know they like to inflate the numbers. So I would rather go out and hire my own electrician, my own plumber, my own HVAC because I can isolate the situation better
Right.
and then better know who to hold who accountable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time when tenants have issues, it's either something wasn't something leaking or the floor wasn't leveled correctly or something like that. And it can go to the contractor. But a lot of contractors are not the ones that actually do the work.
Right.
It's the people that they hire. And then they hire for like cheap labor.
Right.
So and then there's nobody that goes behind them.
Right.
Right. So we actually have a part of our company called our building inspection part of our company where we go out to see exactly where you want things laid out at, and then after that, after everything has been done during the roughing phase, we go out again.
Got you.
To say, okay, fine, based on the code, it's supposed to be this high up off the floor. This is supposed to be copper. Anything in commercial is supposed to be copper, not PVC. Like they go in and tell you, they make sure that everything in there is going to be up to code. So when you get your inspections, you pass them the first time. Because it's more important what's behind the walls than these walls. These walls, this don't mean nothing if the stuff behind it is not done correct, because you could still have a fire.
Yeah.
You know,
Cause you more of a headache, more money.
exactly.
Yeah. wasted time that you have to spend to do it.
And it's weird. And then even being referred to a contractor, like today, it's almost like, and I don't mean to say this, but you gotta watch who you being referred by.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you just did, you know.
Have the benefit from it.
Not even do they have the benefit from it, but sometimes look at the integrity of that person. Look at that person. This person, you never see them do construction, or they just happen to know somebody that knows somebody,
Right.
you know, and then you turn around and realize, well, how you didn't know?
Yeah.
And how have you been to any of their projects?
Yeah.
Have you heard anything bad about them? They just go based on, oh no, they cool. They do good work. They showing me pictures. I remember a client, Lorenzo Jackson, to be example. Lorenzo said to me one time, a guy came to be a contractor with him, right, to be hired, and showed him some of the work he did on his phone. And the contractor, he's looking through the contractor's work and said, wait a minute, this is one of my houses.
Oh, why he took
Okay,
pictures
while he
of
was
different houses.
a contractor actually showed him his own work. I was done. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He was like, oh, so you did this, huh? Like,
Yeah.
how you do this in one of my buildings?
Right.
You know, not knowing the extent of how many buildings people have, you know.
Right.
But it was so funny. He was like, man, if you don't get out of here, so you can't even take that. My thing is, if I'm going to hire you and spend my money, I really need to see your project. I don't know what kind of time I got to take, but I need to see the project. You understand? I need to see the kind of people that you have working around you. Is it somebody you just pull off the corner? You know, I want to see the projects. I want to be able to put your name in the system and check your license to see, you know, what's going on. I want to see if you're going to tell me not to worry about the permits. I want to see if you keep telling me not to worry about anything. Certain telltale signs I look for. If you keep brushing me off, then to me that tells me where you at. I don't want to deal with you because it's not. I want it to be important to you like it's important to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So watching who you being referred by is. I have people that refer me to people, and I'm like, no, I'll be good because I know the character of them. They're nice, but I see how you do your stuff and how people do you. Right. If you refer me to somebody and they do you that way, I'm not going to get the best of them.
Yeah.
They refer by you.
Right, right.
I went against my saying and got screwed every time. So I'm a firm believer in watching who you refer by because I'm telling you, some people don't want to disrespect, or they don't want to not make the person have the person shine because of who they refer by, and that's good. And then some people just don't care. They won't be themselves regardless. It ain't nothing you can do. I can do whatever. If they're just horrible people, if they're just thieves, if they're just whatever scammers, and that's what they're gonna be no matter who they deal with. You know. And yeah, it's definitely good two people. I'm like, yeah, I like you, but that stuff you allow?
Mistakes, and they're costly, right? So it costs you money, it costs you time that you can't get back.
No, you can't get it back.
You know, if you're not in the right situation, you losing that money could essentially put you under, you know, put you out of business. You have to really be mindful, like you said, of who you're referring, who's referring who, and just to make sure you do your due diligence and making sure that who you have doing the work is actually doing it.
Is actually doing, and that also comes into showing up on the project.
Exactly.
Or if you can't do it, like Nicole said, have boots on the ground where there's someone that come by that's experienced enough to make sure that this is done. You want to get paid? We get paid when that's done. I can get it properly inspected. Then you can go ahead and get your money. But there's no, oh yeah, I'm done. You can, because like she said, they can angle the pictures or only show you certain parts of what they want you to see, because they know, oh, she's not going to show up, or they not going to show up. I can tell them anything, you know.
Somebody's going to walk in and say, hey, I'm here. Because they know, yo, she's too busy. She's not going to check in. That's how they do.
Yeah, but when you overly like that, Camille's good for showing up. When you, on her projects, when you have a very...
projects coming up.
Yeah, well, good. When you have a person that's on top of their project, it's a matter of fact, honestly, it hasn't been a woman that's been here yet today that's not on all their projects. They are very much involved in their projects, like very much involved. They don't know no other way. Matter of fact, they obsessively involved in their projects, like Camille is. You know, Treva. They're very much involved in their projects, and I even introduced one of them wasn't involved in her project like that, so I introduced her to the other one and say, Camille, this is a perfect fit here, you know, and then the other person, Treva, this is a perfect fit right here, because on the back end, I see all of the moving parts.
Yes.
Like I'm on the back end, so I'm like, they didn't know what they was talking about, or they, So I'm like, nah, this person just, So I really try my best to when I did the podcast to bring on real people that's doing real stuff, real work, real time, real from my experience. Like Jasmine, a beast. I already know what she can do.
Right.
I already know what my people can do.
Right.
That was, and when I thought about doing this, I had certain people in mind.
Right.
Because they're individually they do their own thing, and plus I know them for years, so I know what I know at any given time. I already know what you're going to get from them. So and it's not hard to always, unless you in a room with people like that or you introduce. Sometimes you don't know another good contractor or a good project manager. You don't know or see that. You don't. You have to sometimes be introduced to that and go. So it is actually people out here that I can. Yeah, it actually is. But it's still hard to find a crew.
Yeah.
Camille has a crew now. All the other 3 women, they have a crew. Jerry, that just left. Jerry runs like 4 crews at any, 4 crews right now. She runs 3 or 4 crews at any given time, but she do a lot of ground up development too. That's all she does. So she does ground up development and she does additions. So because of that, she got an all Asian crew. She got different crews, okay? But each crew had each masters and each individual crew. So it was a full crew from electricians, plumbers, masters, and each of them have a supervisor on each crew. Have a supervisor, this person supervisor, that person is a supervisor, this person is a supervisor. They pull their permits here, they pull their permits there, but everybody is ran under her. So everybody had to report to her, and she's looking at everybody read plans and they looking to see where things go. Like she said, like Jerry was specifically, she said to me, a good contractor not only knows how to read plans, but they can base their materials based on the plans that they read in. So you can look at the plans and go, how many pieces of sheetrock you would need, how many pieces of wood you would need, how many electrical, and because she does it all the time, just based on just reading the plans.
So then you can stay within your budget too.
You can stay within your budget. So she said when she hears people say, well, I didn't know, she's like, it's on the plans. And when they read them, they don't know what to read. It's like they read for the wrong things.
Right.
They look at, like they're looking at, oh, the bathroom is over here and the kitchen. And no, she thinks like a builder. So everything she built is building material. So she looks specifically, what's going to save me money and what do I need to buy extra of? And that's how she does every single last one of her projects. Every single last one of them. So she can close each time on cue because she already know what the permit time is. And she pull permits.
Oh, so she
already know, which was my
experience comes in.
Right, which was my little gem for me. So I'm paying attention. I'm really paying attention because I want to know, because I started pulling permits in Baltimore. But that's my goal. I have permit expediters over there, but I wanted to pull permits myself because
you need to know.
Yeah, low key. Well, that's kind of where I can tell you I was setting up too in Baltimore and Atlanta. Those are the only 2. I'm not going past them to everywhere else. I'm going to sub out, but those are the 2. But Baltimore, I'm like already like literally in Baltimore. So she has real estate in Baltimore. Baltimore, like I said, has not been gentrified yet. It's in the beginning phases still. They want us a lot out there. They're dirt cheap in the properties out there. Things they're bringing a lot to Baltimore. The mayor is really, really out there in Baltimore City. It's so big to the point where if the community don't agree with it, you can't have it. It's different than the CEO, than the RCOs here, But they don't really make things too difficult out there, But by her already being a builder, the experience with pulling the permits, it helps me out as a permit expediter because although I was on this system, I was being trained on their portal system. It's simple. I can actually talk to the examiner.
Oh, really?
It is some crap. It's almost like being spoiled. It's like I gotta fight my daddy, my mama in the city of Philadelphia. I gotta fight, and I still can't. But in Baltimore, they don't even want to see your face. They want you to do everything here. You can make an appointment. You can, and it's done. So I was like, wow. Joanna Bartholomew, Miss Joanna James, Baltimore. She's out there. She has whole blocks that she owns, that she running the whole park. Right. And the permits is easier to the point where if a contractor had to pull a permit, they can, because it's not as a strenuous process. Just like she said, it take they have to review your permits in 3 days.
Mhm.
You gotta pay $2,000 in the city of Philadelphia just to get your permit. $2,000 just to get your permit read in 3 to 5 days. You're talking you have to on a regular scale have to do it in 3.
Yeah.
You get me? And you could do additions and build from the ground up without a zoning. And if you have to go to a RSCO, it takes 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's 6 to 9 months in the city. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like for me, it's exciting because I'm like, this is what I do. So I'm like, oh man, like
It's gonna make your job easier too.
Easier, but then easier for me to train on the system of how to, So yeah, I'm really, really excited. So all right, so I don't want to hold things up. We're going to actually chime out now. So Keesha, could you please let them know how they can get in touch with you, whether from your Instagram or phone number, or anything like that?
Okay, so you can reach out to us. We're on Instagram, Quick Abstract. We are on Facebook, Quick Abstract LLC. Our website is quickabstract.com, and our telephone number is 215-232-3683. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about title. Of course, we're here to help. That's what we do.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back. You're a G. She came back. Talk about keeping your word. I appreciate it.
That's all we got.
Listen, right? It is. At the end of the day, that's all we have. You was absolutely right about that. It is is it after 7 o'clock yet? 6 o'clock? I don't know. But it's time to go. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.